I don't wanna run out of all the money, and that's gonna be needed quickly because of all the traffic that's there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but Celeste Road's isolated, it's the only high-traffic road in the city we're really responsible for. The state takes care of 43, the state takes care of 158, the state takes care of Shelton Beach Road. Celeste Road's the only high-traffic street in the city we're responsible for.
Are you talking about on the east side of the interstate? You talking about the west side? Where at?
Just up in Circle K, it's starting to already show wear, and it's the trucks that are starting to go up and down that road. And as soon as they open up, that bypass up, through Bucks, that's gonna be just like 158 coming through there. People will be coming down that way for a while too. I mean, it's just gonna increase traffic. It's not as bad at where you are, it's up between, it's the one that we just resurfaced when you added the 1.5 foot on each side, and,
That's actually been 2.5 years now.
has it been that long?
2.5 years.
I hadn't been, I was say, I hadn't been since I've been here.
Okay.
That's one thing, Tom, for everybody to get that list and ride around and look. There may be some isolated streets that really don't need it. I just went down the list, some that I knew that we really need to pave. I had to take a chance to look and ride.
I
them.
was
can take
excited
some
when I
off.
read the list, what excited me was for $1.5 million, we can pave every single street in Saraland that's gonna need it for the next 5 years. That was exciting to me. That, you know, people are always saying, my street is not paved. We have the ability to virtually pave almost every single street in the city that's gonna need paving for the next 5 years.
Mhm.
And I
think that's
quite honest,
Right.
quite honestly, I hadn't taken a chance to ride some of these.
Can I make a
Since-
suggestion then that everybody do ride
Right.
around?
Yeah, ride around and take a look at it, just make notes on that list they give you, and come back in a few weeks, and if there's some more you wanna take off the list, whatever, or have some notes by some of them.
Yeah, well, part of this improves some of the drainage in some of the areas.
That's a perfect question.
Those
You-
costs there are strictly road work itself.
Right.
You have some incidental costs brought in, you know, if you got an inlet that's busted, we can correct, pour a new top on the inlet, we can,
I understand what you're saying.
You talking about Deer Run?
No, it's not.
Deer Run needs
Well,
it.
that one I had off the list for a while, and you would have some problems, but it's a matter of whether we're gonna get around and fix them or not.
But
There-
Deer
there's
Run,
some streets
Deer Run
like
has
that.
some serious
If
problems
there's some
down
streets
there.
you know there's gonna be some drainage work coming up, you may wanna think enough, leave it off of there.
And that's what I'm saying, you could, you know, if you could phase it where we get, you know, get some of that started, get some of the others started, and then surface them. Just like the streets that, I think, back down, not Reuben, but those other streets, they're already torn up, you just surface those, and it's because of these sewer laterals. That job's not even done yet, we're under, a problem there, and they've already torn up freshly surfaced streets, and the fix hadn't fixed it, and it's still not fixed, so, you know, that's why I wanna make sure that we work together and make sure we're not gonna be repeating something. Because some of these areas are those areas that they're working in.
Oh, yeah.
now, if I may, as far as the cracking that Newton speaks of, what that is the reflective cracking that's a result of the type of base structure that's used on the road. You have a sand clay base that's used as opposed to an asphalt base or an aggregate. And just over time, you get what they call an alligatoring, which is the reflective cracking that is coming out of the base and up into the asphalt, and that's what causes some of the cracking.
But still, you know, it's not like we're gonna have to resurface Celeste Road every 2 or 3 years. The east section, we
Right.
did that like 6 years ago, and it's still adequate.
Right.
It's just, it's not gonna be a 20-year road with the amount of traffic we have on it.
Can we, the signs that say no through trucks, can we put those up at Slate Road? I mean, I understand it goes straight up to Citronelle, maybe try
No,
to
it's
deter a little bit of that
state.
traffic.
Yeah, that's.
State highway.
It's a county highway, actually. I don't think we can, 'cause it's a county highway.
I'm just wondering. Cause they use that truck, they use that route instead of going 45.
Mhm.
Loading. Loading, I didn't say that though.
The amount of loads in there.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask that everybody take, look at Kirby's map and ride those streets over the next 2 weeks. And we'll use the poor streets as a starting point, the ones that city's deleted and so
And we'll all get together one meeting, where everybody has a chance to look at it and just go over the list and bring the numbers down. And something too that help on the payback, I know I fought Ken with this for years, and I know they're back doing it now, they use the gas tax to pay street department salaries. I always told Ken it's legal, it's not right. People don't
That's
want,
exactly
people don't want
right.
their tax dollars to go on somebody's paycheck, they want to pay streets. And I fought it for 3 years to start using your general fund to pay your salaries, put your gas tax money back to pay your streets. But I know we're right back to doing the same thing again. And you'll never
We
get
did
ahead
pass,
of doing that.
last term, we did pass a special 2-cent gas tax, amount, and that can only be used for repaving.
Right.
But yeah,
So that's why we're accumulating a little better now.
that's why we're getting $500,000 a year now. So I agree with your point.
I'd like for that project to go sooner than later.
And if I may, the city can choose two options to bid their asphalt. They can go with an Aldot asphalt index, or they can go without. If you're going to use the index, which I would recommend because you're gonna get a lower price, I would recommend, unlike Joe, doing it sooner than later. I would not bid this project in the middle or towards the end of summer, because your index cost is because of fuel over the summertime, it's gonna mean higher costs than asphalt.
Which is better, better.
Did it either
Just
soon,
I was,
just like you say,
I mean, if you can get something pulled together now,
Now's the time to do it.
now would be the
I
time
think
to
2 weeks
or-
we need to really have
or-
it done.
Okay,
get the plans prepared and not put them out to bid until
So we
September.
need to hash this out this morning.
yes.
Yeah. And that still leaves you over $1 million of your bond money too. Those stuff is coming up.
Right. Okay. Joe?
I had a few things. First thing I had was, I talked to Dewey, and, they're in need of some vehicles for the fire department. And I told him to get me some bids and some explanations, and I would present them to y'all. I didn't get them before this workshop, so I'm not gonna present them to you today. There was another drainage issue that I meant to bring up, and I just forgot about it. Just totally left me, but anyway, I remember before this meeting over
Was
with.
the hole on Alvarez,
No,
have you seen that one? Have you seen that one, Sid?
Now, that, I've talked to Warren about it. It's actually a sewer problem. They're addressing it.
I mean, it's,
And Warren said his expert can reach me, I think it's some kind of, there's something with a sewer line or something across the road, or the water line that they was working with is leaking. Warren started off filling it up, but they're gonna help them out fixing it. Yeah, I threw that Warren the other day, asking there at Monday night meeting.
I just remembered it. Thank you for talking, guys. Buddy Turner, who lives over in Shadow Ridge, who is our
down Autumn Drive.
Autumn Drive. He has offered, for Kirby to come look at the drainage and offered to move his right of way on the drainage, if that would help us. And I told him that I would bring that up, and if it's something we might wanna look at as far as trying to get the water to flow off the street. He said he would move his right of way over one way or the other to help us out. But he, of course, he wants to do something too where he can build, it might help him. So he's also trying to get something out of it too. I mean, not trying to get something out, but it would help him also.
And he's, when you go Autumn, you turn the corner and he's just there on the right?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
At the very bottom of the hill, I think he owns that lot that's empty.
right,
He's got a fool at the bottom of
Right.
him. And, something about a road freeze or something, but anyway,
right,
he said he'd be glad to talk to you and discuss it,
okay.
whatever we need to do, so.
Well, let Kirby take a look at it, just come back to us.
Okay,
after.
yeah, I've got a very good idea what you're talking about.
Okay, I'll give you his number, how's that sound? Okay, I just wanna make sure everybody's okay with it, but it may help our drainage problem going in behind this house, so. And that was it.
Okay, I got a relatively short list tonight. Who got the call from Eddie Menton?
I got an email from him.
Oh, you got the email, okay. We researched this, and evidently they serve 2-year terms, and we last recommended him 2 years ago. So he is up for being re-recommended.
Okay.
So if nobody, you okay with that,
Yeah,
Cindy?
fine.
Yeah.
So go ahead and put that on the agenda, please, to re-recommend him for
I
a
thought it was a 4-year term.
2-year term. Because he was last re-recommended April 2007.
And where does he serve this our area?
I don't know how that works.
Because we hadn't gotten requests from other people.
I think he's the municipality representative.
Okay.
That's what,
Yeah. I would like to propose, the school board is in dire need of expansion space for their admin office. We are not using this space for any